morning, everyone. I hope all of you are in good condition and stay healthy. So today we are from Group 7 will present the results of our discussion on speech function, politeness, and cross-cultural communication. But before that, I will introduce my friends and myself first. I am Evrins, and my friends are Novia, Vira, and Lintang. First of all, I want to explain you about the function of speech. There are a number of ways of categorizing the functions of speech. The first one is expressive, the second one is directive, the third one is referential, the fourth is metalinguistic, the fifth is poetic, and the sixth is phatic. Here is a video that I want you to watch. Now please watch the video below and enjoy.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in dark, I walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best.
What do you think about the song? I believe all of you have heard that song before. This is the lyric of the song you just listened to. There are some expressive utterance in it. Can you guess which part? Yes, that's right. The expressive utterance are found in phrase feeling good and feeling blessed. Expressive utterance express the speaker's feeling. It used to express personal feelings, thoughts, ideas, and opinions with different choice word, intonation, and etc. In Indonesian communication, expression is used to keep up social relationship. The following are the form of utterances that serve expressive function. I'm happy today. I'm afraid. I'm very gloomy tonight. I'm feeling very good today. I'm feeling great today. Sometimes, notices are intentionally ambiguous in order to attract attention. In this example, the notice positioned before the bend in the road in a small village served to convey information and act as a warning and directive. Directive utterance. Directive utterance attempt to get someone to do something. In Indonesian communication, directive function can be articulated by imperative sentences, interrogative sentences, as well as declarative sentences. Orders and commands are normally expressed in imperative form. Polite attempts to get people to do something in English tend to use interrogatives and declaratives as the following example illustrated. There are the social factors which affect a speaker's choice of the appropriate form of directive. The first one is the social distance between participants, their relative status, and the formality of the context are usually relevant. In general, imperatives are used between people who know each other well or to subordinates. Interrogatives and declaratives, including hints, tend to be used between those who are less familiar with each other or where there is some reason to feel that the task being requested is not routine. There are forms of directive and possible relationship between the speaker and the addresses. Referential utterances provide information. The value of politeness in the same way a great deal depends on intonation, tone of voice, and context too. The following utterances are instances for the referential function. Metalinguistic utterances comment on language itself. The following utterances are instances for the metalinguistic function. Poetic utterances focus on the aesthetic features of the language. This speech function is rarely used in daily conversation. On special occasions, like in the ceremony of engagement in North Sumatra community, anyway, the poetic function is commonly used. RRI Tanjung Pinang broadcasts a special program named Serumpun Melayu. That is, this program dealing with the reproduction of pantun Melayu on air. The following is the utterances of the broadcaster Wan Abida. Poetic utterances expresses solidarity and empathy with others. This speech function always exists in all communities, but the form is different. Where are you going? In utterance 1 is an Indonesian distinctive expression that often makes Western people offended. For the English community, where are you going is such a sensitive greeting. This is too private to question that someone who is greeted that way will be feeling spied and insecure. That is why the possible answer to this question may be, it is none of your business. On the other hand, in Indonesian daily social interaction, where are you going is a part of communicative strategy for breaking the ice. This expression is commonly used to start a conversation or to show one's care of others.
So, the next is politeness. The definition of politeness is, in sociolinguistic and conversation analysis or CA, politeness strategies are speech acts that express concern for others and minimize threat to self-esteem or face in particular social contexts. Let's take the word please for example. Children are told to say please when they are making requests, as a way of expressing themselves politely. For example, could you take my backup please? And then please answer the phone Joe. But adults are use please for less than one might suppose, and when they do it often has the effect of making a directive sound less polite and more promontory. For example, could you take my backup? And then answer the phone Joe. According to Brown and Levinson theory of linguistic politeness, politeness is sometimes referred to as the face-saving theory of politeness. The theory has several segments and correlates, but it all revolves around the concept of face or social value both to oneself and to others. And then, variable in degrees of politeness. Brown and Levinson list 3 sociological variables that speakers employ in choosing the degree of politeness to use and in calculating the amount of threat to their own face. The first one, the social distance of the speaker and hearer. And the second, the relative power of the speaker over the hearer. And then the third is the absolute ranking of imposition in the particular culture. The greater the social distance between the interlocutor, if they know each other very little, the more politeness is generally expected. Politeness divided into 2 ways. The first way is positive. Positive politeness strategies are intended to avoid giving offense by highlighting friendliness. The strategies include just boxing, criticism with compliment, establishing common ground, and using jokes, nicknames, honorifics, tag question, special discharge maker, or please, and in group jargon and slang. For example, oh, You make such great coffee. Would you? And then the second is negative. Negative political strategies are intended to avoid giving offense by showing difference. These strategies include questioning, hedging, and presenting disagreement as opinion. For example, I'm so tired. A cup of coffee would help. And then the next slide will be explained by my friend.
Address forms. An address form is known also as address term or a form or term of address. It simply refers to the word or words used to address somebody in speech or writing. The form of address forms. The use of different forms for addressing people is sociolinguistically bound. The way in which people address one another usually depends on their age, sex, social group, and personal relationship. The use of either of these forms depends on social status and role relationship. A term of address may be friendly, for example, dude, sweetheart, and then unfriendly, for example, you idiot, and then neutral, for example, Jerry, Marge, and then respectful, for example, your honor, and then disrespectful, for example, Buddy said with sarcasm, or comradely, my friends. The use of different forms for addressing people varies across language. For example, the second person singular pronoun varies from English to French. While this pronoun is not context sensitive in English, that it uses only you, it is changeable in French, depending mainly on context and role relationships. The second person pronoun in French has two forms, namely tu and vous. Tu is used when participants have close relationship, whereas vous is used when the relationship between participants is formal. The same distinction can be found in German sie, tu, in Spanish usted tu, and in Mandarin Chinese nin, ni, or you. Formal terms of address. Formal terms of address are typically used in professional contexts such as academia, government, medicine, religion, and the military. In the United States, common examples include professor, used to address a member of a school or university's faculty. His or her excellency, used to address the ambassadors of foreign governments. The honorable, used to address American ambassadors along with U.S. judges and justices. Doctor, used to address a physician who has obtained a medical degree or someone with a PhD. Captain, used to address U.S. naval commanders regardless of rank. Any officer who has been replaced in charge of a vessel may be addressed this way. His Holiness used to address both the Pope of the Catholic Church and the Dalai Lama. Informal forms of address. Informal terms of address are used outside of professional contexts and include terms such as nicknames, pronouns, and terms of endearment. Honey, used to show affection for a romantic partner or child. Dear, used to show affection for a romantic partner or close friend. Babe or baby, used to show affection for a romantic partner. Bud or buddy, used to show affection for a close friend or child. In English, informal titles are sometimes used to show respect. Unlike formal titles, These do not indicate any level of professional or educational accomplishment. Mr. used to address both married and unmarried men. Mirs used to address married women. Miss used to address unmarried women and girls. Miss used to address women and marital status is unknown.
Next, we're going to talk about linguistic politeness in different culture. Here, we provide you a story, and please pause the video and read the story carefully. What can we infer from the story? So the story is about Christina, who encountered a cross-cultural communication problem on returning to her own native culture. How does this happen? The potential areas of misunderstanding are even greater when we venture into new cultures. Anyone who has traveled outside their own speech community is likely to have had some experience of miscommunication based on cultural differences. Now we're talking about refusing. In some cultures, there are very general vague formulas such as "I'm busy that night, I'm afraid," which are perfectly acceptable. But in many Western communities, people expect to be provided with a more specific reason for a refusal. Being polite in such contexts involves knowing how to express a range of speech functions in a culturally appropriate way. Here we provide you another story. Please pause the video and read the story carefully. What can we infer? These examples illustrate that ways of expressing the same speech act may differ quite markedly from one culture to another. These differences may seem totally random and unpredictable, but in fact they're not. They indicate the different social values and attitudes of different societies. Next, we're gonna be talking about greetings. Here we provide you some examples of greetings, such as "How are you? Where are you going? Have you eaten? Where do you come from? Are you married? How much do you earn? What do you weigh?" In different cultures, each of these questions is perfectly acceptable as part of a normal greeting routine. They are formulas, and the expected answer is ritualistic. Greeting formulas universally serve an effective function of establishing non-threatening contact and rapport, but their precise content is clearly culture-specific. The social-linguistic rules governing more formal meetings are usually equally culturally prescribed. For example, take a look at this Maori ritual of encounter. Those which are in the bracket are not used in all occasions. A wero, for example, is a ritual challenge which involves action and fearsome noises, but no words. It is appropriate only in welcoming a very high-ranking visitor, such as the Prime Minister or the Governor General. The British Queen always faces a wero when she visits New Zealand. There are also rules about who is eligible to contribute different elements. The gender, age, and status of appropriate participant is predetermined. For instance, the wero is performed by a young man or a warrior in earlier times, while the karanga is prerogative or the oldest and most respected woman on each side. So, for a conclusion in greeting, welcoming someone properly, even in a relatively informal context, is very important. To wrap up today's material, the sociolinguistic norms or appropriate ways of speaking in different communities are clearly quite distinctive in a range of areas. Speech functions are expressed differently in different communities.
Being polite involves understanding the social values which govern the way social dimensions such as status, solidarity, and formality are expressed. A sociolinguistic description aims to identify the different weight put on these factors in different cultures.
Those are all of our presentation for today, and we hope that you could understand and it could be useful for you. See you on the next occasion.